Jayden Maiava was not perfect on Saturday, although Husan Longstreet was, statistically. That just means USC's quarterback situation right now, it's in a really, really good place. But let's be real clear. This is Jayden Maiava's team this year.
You are Locked On USC, your daily podcast on the USC Trojans, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Fight on, everyone. I'm your host, Mark Holkin, and thank you for making Locked On USC. It's part of the Locked On Network, your first listen every day. Whether you are watching the show on YouTube, wherever you want to download this podcast, just keep reminding yourself this show is always free, and this show is always going to appreciate your support. And today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Football season is here. Visit the FanDuel app today and start planning your future bets now. Jayden threw just 3 incompletions in his time on the field Saturday against Missouri State. Husan Longstreet, he didn't throw any incompletions. He was 9 for 9. He had that fumble. But look, as far as what USC's quarterbacks were going up against, the competition, it was FUBAR, right? It was unrecognizable. It was pretty ugly. But first things first. Let's just point out how well the quarterbacks played, considering their lot in life, so to speak. This is Jayden Maiava's team. He is the starter. He is QB1, and he played like it. Husan Longstreet is the future, and he played like it. I'll explain why here in just a second. Coach Riley talked about. He was on Trojans Live this Monday, the Monday following the USC 73-13 victory over Missouri State. And he talked about how, the quarterbacks, how they played, and Husan Longstreet. So I'll get in that just a second. But everyone knows, based on what you saw, it took me, I had to look long and hard to find something to, kind of critique Jayden Maiava about his performance against the Bears. He really didn't do that much wrong. So I had to kind of cherry pick, I had to nitpick, because you have to, especially when, these numbers are crazy. He only played 30 minutes. He only played the first half of the game, but he still went 15 for 18, 295 yards, 3 total touchdowns. And like I said, he did that before he was benched in the second half. He didn't even play in the second half, and he really wasn't benched. It was Lincoln Riley wanting to give his backup quarterback, Husan Longstreet, just a taste of college football as much as possible. The game was in hand. There was no concern that USC was going to lose this game whatsoever. So Jayden was on the field for 30 minutes before he had to sit out that second half. But Jayden still led the offense on 5 touchdown drives. Okay. Again, 15 for 18, 295, 2 touchdowns throwing. He rushed for that third score. By the way, those 295 yards in the first half, that's the most since Keaton Slovis threw for 347 yards against Arizona State. That was back in 2019. 295 is a really good number. 347 is a wow number. But what Jayden did here, this is interesting to note. Jayden has now thrown in 2 consecutive games for 295 yards. It took him the entire game against Texas A&M in the Cotton Bowl. He accomplished that goal in 30 minutes against Missouri State. So he needed 18 passing attempts to get to 295 yards. He needed almost 40. He needed 39 to get it done in the Vegas Bowl. Here's another interesting note. This is the second year in a row that a USC quarterback has been named the Big Ten Offensive Player of the Week for the opening week of the season. Yes, if you haven't heard, Jayden Maiava was named the Big Conference's Offensive Player of the Week. Miller Moss did that last year. USC beat LSU. But hopefully Jayden this will be the first of many for USC, because last year that was USC's only, that was their only Conference Player of the Week type of accolade. That's it. Game one. So hopefully this will be one of a few. Like I said, Jayden got it week one as well. One of my biggest takeaways from Jayden, his performance, it wasn't what he did on the field. It's what he did off the field. And this is why it's his team now. It's Coach Riley talked about it. I needed to see it. Now I've seen it. Jayden wasn't on the sideline waving a towel, trying to get everybody all psyched and geeked up. I know how some of y'all feel about towel waving, but Jayden was still into the game. You saw him running down the sideline, chasing. I think it was King Miller's touchdown. I believe that was his touchdown. Your teammates see that type of stuff. When your finger quote team leader is your biggest cheerleader, everybody else wants to get in on that action. Another thing, Jayden was always one of the first guys to join the celebration when somebody scored. Again, Tom Brady talked about it. Whenever they scored a touchdown when he was when he was quarterback for the Patriots, he would always tell his offensive linemen, hey, first of all, he tapped them all on the helmet, and then all of them would run to the end zone to celebrate with whoever scored. It was a team thing. It was more about, Tom Brady gets all the flowers, gets all the accolades, but it takes a team to score a touchdown. And that was Tom Brady's way of making sure everyone kind of felt part of the process. Jayden Maiava is doing that right now. And Coach Riley even, he talked about it on the Trojans live show this Monday. So, this is Jayden's team now. Just like it was Miller's team last year at this time. But right now, Jayden, he's more comfortable in his skin. I'm watching him be a vocal leader. Now let's see if he gets a chance to replicate, if he can replicate what he did against Missouri State, against Georgia Southern coming up. Number one, I think he's going to play more than just one half of football. He needs to. USC's game after this week coming up, they're on the road at Purdue. So, yeah, he definitely needs to play more than one half of football. On the field, again, he just looks more comfortable. I didn't know, at least in game one, I didn't notice any bad decisions. There were no of those, oh my God, don't make that throw, don't do that type of thing. You just look really, really comfortable out there. Now I just want to see him do it 2 games in a row. Keep selling. Give me a reason not to like you. Well, and I don't want that reason, but the more you play and then the more better he does, everybody's just going to start getting behind him. So yeah, do it 2 games in a row. Georgia Southern, they're going to be a step up from Missouri State. They'll have a little bit more talent than the Bears had. So this will be another step in Jayden's growth. Now, whatever the staff saw on film that Jayden still needs to work on, that's going to be the focus this week. We're not in the locker room. We're not in the film room. I don't know what that conversation is. I could try and find out. But again, it's just a matter of Jayden being comfortable, trusting the coaching staff, trusting the players around him, being able to stay in that neutral mindset. If you make a mistake, so what? Mistakes happen. Just don't do it again. Play the next play. So Coach Riley talked about that as well. Game 3 is on the road. And again, despite Purdue going through a rebuild right now, they have a good head coach. And Barry Odom, he knows how to turn around programs. He did it at Missouri. Josh Henson was his offensive line coach at the time when he was there. He did it at UNLV, and he's trying to do that at Purdue. So that will be the first real test for Jayden Maiava in 2025. He'll get a little bit of a, I don't even want to call it a midterm exam, but he'll get a little bit of a pop quiz going up against Georgia Southern. They have a little bit of film to watch, so they'll try and, take away some stuff that maybe they see that makes Jayden feel a little bit more uncomfortable. We'll see. But right now, just keep stacking days. Have another great game, just like you had against Georgia Southern, against Missouri State. Have another great game against Georgia Southern. And then all of a sudden, Jayden can, ride that monster wave of confidence as, Trojan plane lands in West Lafayette. The more confident he becomes, just the more his talent will just stand out. It's that simple. If he plays confident, his talent will do the rest. Okay. So got 2 more segments to go on the show. As you can see on the rundown, I got 3 things that really made an impression on me. And then I have a couple of favorite plays that I want to talk about in the 3rd segment. So stick around. We've got some fun stuff coming up. When the opening whistle blows on a new repair, get your crew moving forward with Supply House. Order today and see parts on your doorstep tomorrow. Over 280,000 plumbing, HVAC, and electrical items from the most trusted brands in the business. Their real-time inventory and honest lead times keep you from punting projects, while their industry-leading customer service always has your blind side covered. Need parts fast for a project? Supply House has next-day delivery. I mean, talk about a game changer. Their Trademaster perks like priority shipping and dedicated support makes the whole process that much smoother. Join the free Trademaster program today and score serious perks like priority shipping, lower prices, and a dedicated support line. Visit supplyhouse.com to sign up for your free and use promo code SHCollege5 for 5% off your first order. That's supplyhouse.com. Real people, real service. Guys, you've probably heard of Viagra, Cialis. I know you've heard of them. See the commercials on TV every day. Maybe you've even tried one or both. But if you're looking for something beyond the usual pill, it's time to try Rougiette Ready. Rougiette Ready is a next-generation prescription treatment designed to amplify arousal in the brain, as well as boost the blood flow. Unlike the usual pills that take hours, Rougiette's 3-in-1 formula dissolves under your tongue and kicks in fast on average in 15 minutes. And the effects can last up to 36 hours. So you can stay confident and in control when the moment is right. If traditional options haven't worked for you, Rougiette might be the answer. Over 150,000 men have already made the switch. And here's what you'll love. It's completely online. It's completely discreet. Rougiette delivers right to your front door, and they're going to hook you up with a board-certified doctor. Head to rougiette.com/LockedOnCollege today and use code LockedOnCollege to get 15% off. That's RUGIET.com/LockedOnCollege. Use the promo code LockedOnCollege, and you'll get 15% off. Individual results may vary with prescription treatment. Compounded drugs are permitted to be prescribed under federal law, but are not FDA approved and do not undergo FDA safety, effectiveness, or manufacturing review. Please visit the website for more details. There was a lot to be impressed about following that win. I mean, the 73 points that the offense put up, the discipline from the team on the whole, penalty-wise, what they had 5. That's really, really good. You've seen how many players got a chance to play. I believe 83 different players played in that game. Excuse me while I take a sip of water. Oh, I needed that. Obviously, what was also impressive, who saw Longstreet's athleticism? I mean, that made a huge impression on me. Look, he's not as big as South Carolina's quarterback, Lenoris Sellers, but he has that exact same type of ability. In fact, I'll go as far as saying that Longstreet is farther advanced as a true freshman than Lenoris was. He's not, in fact, I don't think he's that far behind. Once this game slows down for Husan and he settles in more, that's what Coach Riley was talking about on Monday's Trojan Live show. Going forward, yeah, Husan made some plays with his legs, but he's going to have to start settling in, stay in the pocket. You can't just, tuck and run. You can't do that. So the thing about Husan is once he settles in and the game slows down, he's going to be a problem. Because when you have a quarterback with that type of ability to, that dude can literally hit that nitrous oxide button in the car and he goes from 0 to 60 in the time it takes to shift gears. I mean, it's literally, he has one gear, go, and he's gone. He also has a passing arm. So you combine those two things, I like my chances in the future, especially if Lincoln Riley is one of his mentors. Him and, Luke Heward is the quarterback coach as well. So that was one impression. Here's another one. While the whole wide receiver number 3 position kind of sorts itself out, look, and it's a shame that DJ Jordan's touchdown was called back, which ironically was one of those few penalties that was called against USC. He showed his speed, what he's capable of doing once he gets the ball in his hands, and he has some open grass in front of him. DJ Jordan has a chance to be that guy. He just needs to be more consistent, and that starts in practice. Prince Strawn, he looked good. I think he tweaked his ankle on his one and only target that went for 25 yards, 24 yards. But he still played in the game. He only got targeted one time. I love watching him running downfield blocking. I'll tell you on which specific one here shortly. I think Zacharias Williams will eventually find his role. But with all that being said, I loved watching the wide receivers blocking downfield. I mean, Tunic Hines, Zach Williams, Jaden Richardson, all the wide receivers. They were willing blockers. And I love that. I love the selflessness about that. Just because the ball isn't coming your direction doesn't mean you can't impact the play. Because when you're willing to block, your teammates recognize that. The coaches will see that in the film room, and you're going to see yourself on the field more and more. And when you're on the field more, that means there's more opportunities for the quarterback to find you. So again, all works together. As Travis Dye used to say, no blocky, no rocky. And he was a running back. As far as the wide receivers blocking downfield, that leads to explosive plays. We didn't have a lot of that last year. USC has already got 2, 3 60-yard things. They've got at least 2 70-yard touchdowns. So yeah, it's good stuff. I think a lot of the credit to the wide receiver blocking, I think you got to start tipping your hat, give a little hat tip to Chad Savage. Remember, he was brought in during the offseason. During my practice reports, I've talked about it a couple times, the attention to detail with blocking. Talked about it in the spring camp. I talked about it during fall camp. It's showing up on the field. The other group, besides the wide receivers that opened my eyes, loved the safety play. Oh my gosh, it was great. Fantastic. Christian Pierce was solid. Kamari Ramsey was his usual consistent self. Remember I said it was going to be Kamari Ramsey got a pick 6 in the game? I was wrong. It was number 19. Bishop Fitzgerald showed why he's considered a playmaker. He was also on the Trojans live show Monday after Coach Riley regarding that interception of the pick 6. He said, as soon as I saw the motion, I knew they wanted to throw that dig route. He said he trusted his film study. He trusted the work he did in that room. He trusted his instincts. And look at the results. So a lot of stuff to take away from that first game. A couple of players who to kind of keep watching develop. Marquise Gallegos. Keep an eye on this young man. He had that big smack on the Missouri State wide receiver that laid him out. I like that play a lot. It was honorable mention as far as top plays, but Marquise made an impression. I know he left an imprint on that wide receiver. He felt it. I think I heard him say "ow." Matai Tagovailoa. Once Matai puts another 20, 25 pounds on his body, he's gonna be awesome. He's gonna be awesome. I mean, he had that forced fumble recovery as well. He was all over the field in his time. And I think I said it before. If you're a young player and you might be a little bit lower on the depth chart, you know how you get yourself further up the depth chart? Play special teams. That's what he's doing. And then when he got his opportunity in the game, he made the most of it. So what you take away from that is you didn't get a whole lot of, I don't want to say production at the linebacker group with the linebacker group. They weren't really needed that much. So you just like the depth that's behind Eric Gentry and Desmond Stevens. You got Jaden Walker, you got Matai Tagovailoa, you got Tamir Robinson, you got Anthony Beavers. They've got the depth, so you're good there. Excuse me. So those were just three things that kind of made an impression on me from that game. What did you see? What left an impression on you that wasn't necessarily a great play, but something you just noticed as like, you know what? I was looking for that. I can check that box off now. And I get it. It was Missouri State, small sample size. It wasn't the greatest of competition, but you don't have to be playing against Notre Dame or Alabama or Miami or Clemson, Ohio State to give great effort. And that, I think, was the biggest impression. My biggest takeaway was the effort the team put forward. You got to love that. All right, we got one more segment to go. The NFL season is almost here, and FanDuel is making sure you're ready for kickoff with a can't-miss offer. Right now, new customers, if you can bet just $5, and if that first $5 bet wins, you're going to get $300 in bonus bets, and you can use that across their app. Hello? $5 for $300? Sign yourself up. You're going to love using the FanDuel app because it fits however you like to bet. You like doing player prop bets? They got that covered for you. Building a same-game parlay, even jumping in live as the action unfolds, FanDuel will make that happen for you. So are you ready to play? Download the FanDuel app now by visiting FanDuel.com to get started. That's FanDuel.com to place your first $5 bet. College football is back, and it's back with a vengeance. And I couldn't be more excited. The tailgates, the rivalries, the energy in the stands, nothing like it. That's why it's my favorite sport. But let's be real. Actually, getting tickets can feel like more of a battle than the game itself sometimes. With the endless queues, the hidden fees, prices jumping at the checkout, all that stuff. It sucks. That's why I use Game Time. That's why you should use Game Time, the app that gives the advantage back to the fans. It's the easiest way to score last-minute tickets at the best prices with no surprise fees. What you see is what you pay. You can pull up Game Time right now, and in just a couple of taps, you're going to see amazing deals. I'm talking about your favorite college football games for as low as $25. The app made it super simple. I could even see the exact view from my seat before buying. So take the guesswork out of buying college football tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, that's promo code LOCKEDONCOLLEGE, and you're going to get $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, go. Download Game Time today. My favorite play from the game on Saturday. I had to go back. I had to watch some film. It involved the backups. It was on King Miller's touchdown run between the tackles. And when you slow it down and you just watch each person doing their job, oh, a beauty. So your offensive line, Aaron Dunn at left tackle, Micah Banuelos at left guard, Gianre Reed at center, Kylon Miller right guard, Elijah Vicona up at right tackle. As I said, it was executed perfectly. The handoff to King, to King Miller. And you have Aaron Dunn, you have Micah from the left pulling right. You have King's brother, his twin brother, Kylon, pulling to the left. While General Reed and Mount Elijah, they just wipe their guys out of the play completely. John Ray pushes his guy downfield. Vicona just kind of, you're going to go this way. You've got no choice in the matter. And all of a sudden, there was a hole so big, I could have ran through it. I mean, Micah Banuelos just blasted his guy. Miller, like I said, he was driving his guy 10 yards downfield. And even a slow old white guy like myself is like, hey, I can do this. Just hand me the ball. I could have ran for 20 yards on this play. But that wasn't the end of it. So you have that going on up front. I talked about the wide receivers blocking downfield in the previous segment. On that play, you could see Jay Fair, Jaden Richardson, Prince Strawn. They're all sprinting down to block for him. I mean, perfect execution. And that's the result you get. Speaking of perfection, look, I ran out of time on yesterday's episode of Locked on USC, but it was a perfect weekend. Also known, I call those Champagne Sundays. You get a Champagne Sunday when USC wins and both UCLA and Notre Dame lose on the same weekend. That means it's a perfect weekend and you got to pop a bottle of bubbly. So just got to throw that in there because I didn't mention that on yesterday's episode. Here's my other favorite play. It also involved two offensive linemen. And this one happened on Eli Sanders' touchdown. This was the little screen pass that went, 73 yards? Again, simple screen to the left, and you have Elijah Page and Tobias Raymond. First thing they have to focus on, make sure they're not too far downfield. Okay? So you don't have an ineligible man downfield. That happens frequently on screen passes. So they set up the wall, and Eli did the rest. All of a sudden, you're watching Eli just sprinting. He's got that ball, teed to his chest, and he's high stepping. He's high stepping all the way into the end zone. He has a gallop type of gait to his run. In fact, someone said that Eli's running style reminded him of Anthony Davis's running style. That's a great comparison. Anthony Davis, he's not as tall as Eli Sanders, but similar running style. He had a gallop to him. He liked the high step. So I can't remember who said it, but you're right. I agree. I watched Eli on that, and then I went back and I looked at Anthony Davis scoring one of his, 8. I think he had 8 total touchdowns in his career versus Notre Dame. Was it 8 or 9? He had a lot. He's known as the Irish, the Notre Dame killer. So I saw that comparison. So those were my 2 favorite plays from the game. I talked about the Marquise Gallegos getting honorable mention. But anytime I can see the big hogs up front doing their job, and it allows the running backs to do their job, when you execute perfectly, finger beauty. Chef's kiss. Love it. All right. What were your favorite plays? Let me know. Hit me up. You know where the comment section is on YouTube. When you do that, when you comment, this show just keeps growing. So keep doing that. If you're watching on YouTube, you haven't subscribed yet, stop waiting. Just click that red subscribe button. It's free. Smash that thumbs up. Keep dropping those comments. You're doing a great job, folks. And I don't want any of you to miss another episode. So click that bell notification. Get that out of the way. Okay. College football fans, Locked On and Fire TV, we got something for you. The college football kickoff is your ultimate college football weekly preview. Drake Toll of Locked On Big 12. He's going to lead the conversation. And then you also have joining him on the set, 2-time AP Coach of the Year, Gary Patterson. By the way, he used to coach at TCU, who just They killed Bill Belichick's North Carolina team in game 1. Ouch. Yeah. Anyways, those guys, where'd I go? Drake Toll, Gary Patterson, former college football star Jesse Holley. You also get the local Locked On experts like myself every Thursday. College football preview only on Locked On can do it. On Fire TV. Check it out. You're going to love that show. All right. You love Locked On USC, so you'll be back tomorrow for another episode. I'll be back. Don't miss it. So until then, everyone, you know what to do. And don't forget, when you're all done with the Locked On Network, Locked On USC, get on over there to wearesc.com inside the Trojan Huddle. It's up for you.